Welcome to This Explainer. I'm Dr. Mira, and today we're tackling something I get asked about all the time, executing the hybrid PLS-SEM and fsQCA approach. Seriously, imagine you're a PhD student sitting right here across from me in my office, trying to figure out how to combine these two drastically different methods into one powerful, publishable study. It's a methodological dilemma that literally stops a lot of early career researchers right in their tracks. But don't worry, today we're going to break the whole thing down. Let's jump right in. So, it really boils down to this, right? In traditional quantitative inquiry, you kind of had to pick a lane. Do you want to look at the isolated average effects of independent variables on an outcome? Or do you want to zoom out and look at the holistic, complex combinations of conditions that actually lead to that result? Well, the modern methodological standard says, why not both? By using a hybrid approach, we get to capture both the symmetric logic of average effects and the messy, asymmetric reality of causal complexity. It's a total game changer.
Think of these methods as two sides of the same coin. On one side, we've got PLS-SEM, partial least squares structural equation modeling. This is your foundation, okay? It assesses the quality of your measurements and estimates those net effects. On the flip side, we have fsQCA, fuzzy set qualitative comparative analysis. Now, this method couldn't care less about isolated net effects. Instead, it identifies these specific configurations, or basically the recipes of conditions that work together to become sufficient for an outcome to actually happen.
And what makes this so incredibly cool is that these tools aren't competing alternatives. No way. Together, they form this brilliant hybrid approach. PLS-SEM gives you a really stable, generalizable foundation for average effects, and it validates your structural model. Then, once you know your measurements are rock solid, fsQCA steps in to give you all that juicy contextual depth. It reveals alternative causal recipes, showing us that there's almost never just one single way to achieve an outcome, but multiple paths, a concept we call equifinality. Okay, so how do we actually pull this off? Let's literally walk through the workflow step by step. We're going to start in the SmartPLS-4 environment to run the PLS-SEM algorithm. Next, we rigorously check the measurement model. After that's validated, we extract the latent variable scores, import them straight into the fsQCA software, and finally, calibrate that data to compute our causal recipes. Simple enough, right? Let's see how this builds, starting with the first two steps. So looking right over my shoulder at the SmartPLS-4 dashboard, our first step after running the algorithm is making absolutely sure our indicators are reliable. When you look at the final results report for outer loadings, we need those values to clear the 0.708 threshold. If they do, awesome. We can confidently confirm indicator reliability. That basically just means your survey items are accurately reflecting the underlying constructs you actually want them to measure. Next up is internal consistency reliability, and honestly, SmartPLS-4 makes this so easy. For composite reliability, specifically looking at row A, our values have to be well above that critical 0.70 mark. Once you clear that threshold, you know your construct measures have high internal consistency. In plain English, it means the items measuring a specific concept are hanging together exactly like they're supposed to. But wait, we aren't done with the model evaluation just yet. We also have to verify convergent validity by checking the average variance extracted, or AVE. We're looking to make sure it sits comfortably above the 0.50 minimum level. An AVE above 0.50 essentially tells us that on average, the construct is explaining more than half of the variance of its indicators. All right, final structural check. We examine the HTMT matrix to ensure discriminant validity. This is what tells us if your constructs are truly distinct from one another. We want to confirm our values are coming in below the rather conservative 0.85 threshold. Even for constructs that are conceptually super similar, staying under this bar proves they are empirically unique. Once we've cleared this hurdle, bam, your measurement model is officially validated. Now, here is the absolutely crucial point. What do we do next? We don't just take simple averages of your survey items. Actually, scratch that. Doing that would be a huge mistake. Instead, we extract the unstandardized latent variable scores directly from the SmartPLS report. Why? Because these scores are so much stronger than simple summated scales. They mathematically reflect the exact individual indicator weights and loadings from the measurement model we just spent all that time validating, rather than just treating every single item equally. And now we cross the bridge into the second phase of our hybrid methodology. We open up the fsQCA 3.0 software, though, you could totally use the QCA package in R if you prefer. And we import those exact latent variable scores as our raw base variables.
This right here is the big handoff between the symmetric world of PLS-SEM and the asymmetric configurational world of fsQCA. Here's the catch, though. fsQCA cannot read raw continuous data. We have to translate it for the software. Using the compute variable calibrate function, we transform this continuous data into fuzzy set membership values. This is a super fine-grained calibration based on 3 theoretical breakpoints. A score of 0.95 sets the threshold for full membership, a score of 0.05 is full non-membership, and 0.50, that's the crossover point, basically the point of maximum ambiguity. This turns our raw numbers into degrees of inclusion ranging from 0 to 1. Okay, before we get completely carried away with the complex combinations that fsQCA is so famous for, we must run a necessity analysis. As I always tell my students, necessity has to be checked before sufficiency, period. We're testing to see if any single condition is absolutely independently required for the outcome to occur. If a condition is necessary, the outcome literally cannot happen without it, regardless of whatever other conditions are present.
After checking necessity, we move to the absolute heart of the analysis, constructing the truth table to test for sufficiency. This table is wild. It lists every single possible combination of your conditions. To find the configurations that actually matter, we apply some strict thresholds. We set a frequency cutoff of greater than 1, or hey, maybe 3 for larger datasets, just to drop the rare combinations. Then we require a consistency of greater than 0.75 and a proportional reduction in inconsistency, or PRI, of greater than 0.50 to filter out all the noise.
Once that truth table is refined, the software uses the Quine-McCluskey algorithm. Think of this like a giant, powerful logical reduction tool that simplifies all those messy combinations down into core recipes. When the software spits out the results, it gives you complex, parsimonious, and intermediate solutions. For your research, you are going to want to focus your interpretation on those intermediate solutions. They provide the best, most theoretically grounded explanation of the causal recipes leading to your outcome.
Section 1. Reporting the hybrid methodology.
Because let's be real, running the software flawlessly is really only half the battle. How you write these findings up in your paper matters just as much. Please remember this golden rule. Do not just repeat your net effects. Don't say, PLS-SEM showed X was significant, and wow, fsQCA also showed X was important. No. Present fsQCA as providing the contextual depth needed to understand complex equifinality. You use PLS-SEM to validate the structure, and you use fsQCA to explain the nuanced how and why. And that is the whole shebang. By using PLS-SEM for average effects and structural validation, and then pairing it with fsQCA for those causal recipes and equifinality, you create a rigorously robust methodological story. You literally bridge the gap between symmetric and asymmetric logic. So, to all the scholars watching, what new crazy complexities are you going to uncover in your next dataset now that you have both of these powerful tools at your disposal? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy researching!